What's up guys? Today I'm going to be showing you a super easy way to use push to talk if you're a controller player. If you clicked on this video, then you're probably a controller player who already knows why they would want to use push to talk, whether it be to communicate in game while talking in Discord or in a party chat with their friends, or just making sure that they don't always have an open mic while they're playing a game. I know for myself specifically, I've been playing a lot of the new Warzone 2 and I've really been enjoying the proximity chat. But I'm usually in a call with my friends on Discord or in Xbox Party Chat, which means that either I'm talking in both at all times or talking in one and not the other. And sometimes it's nice to be able to utilize proximity chat and the different things you can do with it. Maybe you're in the gulag with someone that's not on your team, or maybe you just want to mess with some people in a building that you're going into. So that's why I wanted to get push to talk on my controller. So the program that we're going to be using today is called Rewast. It's a gamepad mapper that's a little bit similar to the Xbox Accessories remap tool when you're using a Xbox Elite controller. But when you use this one, it recognizes your paddles as separate entries rather than on your controller. It has to be another controller button. So what we're going to be able to do is still use the Z key on your keyboard or the Z key on your keyboard as the push to talk button, but we're going to be able to remap that to actually just be one of the paddles on the back of our controller, or if you don't have a controller with paddles, you can make it one of the front buttons. If you're having trouble figuring out what button you want to use, you can change it so that you have a shift button, and with a shift button you can basically just press two buttons to enable your push to talk on your controller and not lose any of the different things that you'd be using anyways. So you can see here that Rewast supports a whole bunch of different controller types. I know that you can do things with different keyboards and mice to remap different parts and do different things that you might want to do. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the specifics on how you would set it up with an Xbox Elite controller. I'm sure that it doesn't vary too much controller to controller, but that's what I have and what I've done it on, so that's what I'm going to be able to explain best to you to use. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you can go right onto the rewast.com, download it right on the home page. That's going to start up a download and then you'll get the installer. Once you open that download, this is what you're going to get popped up. For me, it says agree and reinstall because I already have it in. But for you, it should probably just say agree and install, and then it'll start the download there, and you can work through that like any normal application would. So once you finish your install, you're going to want to connect your controller however you typically would. I know this works via Bluetooth for me. I have the Xbox specific adapter for my PC, so I don't know if it might not work with other Bluetooth adapters, but you can always just wire your controller in if you have any issues using your Bluetooth. You'll see here that there's a whole bunch of different game profiles. There's a few by default. The one that I've made I just called MW2 because it was my kind of Modern Warfare setup that I was using. So something important to think about when you're setting this up is when you're connecting your controller, either use a profile on the Elite controller that just has default settings right now, or make sure that you're matching up all of your different mapping that you might have with that profile, because this is either going to override it or you might have some sort of conflictions. I know at first I didn't reset my settings properly, so when I got into my first game and was testing out the push to talk, I was also reloading every time I pressed my push to talk button, probably because that paddle was mapped for my X key as well as my Z key. But yeah, just make sure that you have all that reset, or else you might have some conflictions, and if you do have those, it's not a big deal. Just go back in and reset it afterwards, and then come back into Rewast and apply it to your slot on your controller. You'll get a screen like this that shows like the whole layout of your controller and what all the buttons are doing. Initially, none of your back paddles, if you have them, are going to be mapped. So once you've made it to this step, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of different options here. But first, let's just look right at what we're getting into. If you're wanting to change one of your back paddles to be that Z key, click on the back over here to see that back layout. And then you can see that I've already selected it here, but once you click on this paddle, it'll pop up all the things you can do with it. So you see your Rewast mapping section, and there's a drop down here. and it'll show you every button on your controller, every key on your keyboard, every clicker on your mouse. Everything's right here, and you can use that to select Z. Once you've got it picked there, you just exit out of that part. You want to go down here and click the Apply to Slot 1 button, and that's going to be what saves it and sets it onto your controller. Once you've hit that save button and you want to check it out to make sure it works, either you can go into a game and give it a true tryout, or you can just click up here, and then we're going to press that button on the back of the controller, and it's working. So there's definitely a lot of cool features with Rewast. Now that we've run through exactly what you need to do to get that working, I'll just show you a couple more real quick. You got LED settings up here, so you can just pick whatever color you want. I've got this blue here, and once you apply it, you'll see on your controller that now that's changed your main button to be the color that you selected. There's also options to do a rainbow or to have it breathe or heartbeat. Once we apply that, instantly switches on your controller. You can see here, cut this light off a little bit. See here that it's going through. So yeah, there's a ton of different options in here. It just gives you like an extra level of customization. And you can see your slots down here. So I got a couple of empty slots that I can add other configurations into. Maybe it's different games, or maybe you want to use different things. I know for me, I play some racing games and I play some shooter games, so I always adjust my thresholds for shooter games to be super low so that when I pull a trigger it's like instant react. But then if I switch over to a racing game and I touch my trigger and it floors the car that I'm in, it's better to have a different configuration so you can have that range of motion and variability, and can press the trigger a little bit for a little bit of gas, or a lot of it for a lot of bit of gas. So since I was talking about how specifically I utilize this, I figured I would just continue to show you in the game how your settings need to look to make sure it works. Nothing complicated. You just go into your settings here and then go to audio, go into voice chat, and you can see here the voice chat recording mode. Right now it's set to push to talk and set to the letters Z or Z. So if you go into your social hub, you can see here that there's a little mic on the left. You can see right now that it's not picking up my voice at all, and that's because it's on push to talk and I'm not pushing the paddle. When I push the paddle, you'll see that the little speaker over here is going to have some waves come out of it to show that I'm talking. So test, test, test. There you go. Shows that it works. And yeah, now I'm not pushing it, can't hear me. And yeah, so whether it's that you're in Discord and you want to mess with some people in proximity chat, or you want to be able to talk to your teammate in the gulag that isn't in your Discord, yeah, this is the way to do it. And Rewast makes it super easy. Even if you don't have an elite controller, or a controller with paddles at all, you can just map one of your front buttons or have a shift button to make it work. Just thinking about it quickly, maybe left on the D-pad would be a good setting if you didn't have paddles to do it, or maybe use that as your shift button and then have it be another D-pad button to use it. I know that I was super excited to find Rewast and be able to use it to do this, because I was, like I said, having that issue where I was in a party chat so that I could have a lot clearer sounds. And of course when your game crashes, then at least you can tell your teammates what's going on and stuff like that. But the proximity chat is just too fun to not take advantage of, and I didn't want to have it constantly open in there. So being able to use Rewast to configure the push to talk for a controller was really good for me. And I hope that this video can help some of you guys out. And if you have any issues or any questions, just leave a comment down below and let me know, and I can have a look into it for you and give you some help. I'll also put the link down below to go to the Rewast website so that you can go there and get this all set up for yourself. If this video was able to help you, I would appreciate a like or a subscribe, and thanks for watching.